Most of the landscaping companies that we talk to don't actually have a marketing problem or a leads problem. What they typically have is a systems problem where they've bought all the different types of software, they've signed up for the different CRMs, they've tried all the different AI tools that all the gurus are telling them to get with, but they're still seeing leads that are falling through the cracks. They still don't have consistent follow-up, and the owner still winds up being the glue that holds everything together. Hey, I'm Charles, and I run Become the Authority, and we build and install what we call the job flow system. It's an operating system we use to connect marketing, follow-up, scheduling, reviews, and repeat business for landscaping companies. And just to kind of tie this to some reality, landscapers who install the job flow system and use it typically see around a 40 to 60% increase in annual revenue with no additional ad spend. And that's not just because we implemented one tool, it's because now the tools are finally working together as a complete system. So today I want to talk you through the core stack that we use, what software we're making use of, what each piece is responsible for, and why landscapers kind of struggle getting started with this, right? So the biggest misconception about software is that buying the right tool usually fixes the problems. But from my experience, we both know that it doesn't, right? Software without workflows and standard operating procedures is really just expensive clutter and more work for your team to do. And before talking about specific platforms, it's important to understand what your system actually needs to do inside of your business. So no matter what size your landscaping business is at, your stack needs to be able to capture leads, respond instantly, assign ownership, follow up automatically, trigger reviews after jobs are completed, and re-engage old leads and past customers over time. And if any of this is missing, then that's where you start to see those revenue leaks, right? So at the center of JobFlow is a software called GoHighLevel. GoHighLevel is the brain of the system. It is a marketing CRM. Every lead, whether it comes from your website, Google Maps, paid ads, phone calls, it all flows into one place. And this is where the pipelines live, the automations run, and all of the follow-up happens, whether it's text messages, emails, estimate reminders, review requests, long-term nurture sequences. Everything is handled in one location. And what we notice is landscapers get stuck using GoHighLevel because they're trying to just use it like a fancy inbox. They aren't defining pipelines, there's no automation that's tied to stages, and there's no clear ownership being assigned. So instead of creating clarity, it just creates more work for the team, and the team starts to resent them, right? So in JobFlow, we build GoHighLevel so that the moment a lead comes in, it's responded to instantly, assigned properly, and followed up with automatically based on where it is in the process. So it's the exact same software, but it's a completely different outcome. That's why implementation is so important. Now, the next software we like to suggest is Jobber. Now, Jobber is a operations CRM. It's for field service operations. It can handle estimates, scheduling, employee management, and day-to-day execution in the field. The problem usually comes when landscapers try to force Jobber to act like a marketing CRM instead of an operations CRM. Jobber isn't designed for long-term nurture, reactivations, or reviews, right? So in JobFlow, we let Jobber handle the execution and GoHighLevel handles the customer relationships. When an estimate is sent in Jobber, follow-up sequences are happening in GoHighLevel. When a job is completed in Jobber, review requests and future check-ins are triggered using GoHighLevel without any extra memory or additional effort. Now, the next piece of software we use is QuickBooks. And QuickBooks exists for one reason. It really has nothing to do with marketing or automation. It's really just about accuracy and making sure that we understand what's really happening in the business and what's driving the needle. We connect it so that we can see the closed jobs, the invoices, and the revenue reflect what's actually happening in your pipeline. They've got to match up, right? And if you don't know which marketing channels are producing the most revenue, then scaling becomes guesswork. And guesswork is really expensive. So adding something like QuickBooks is going to allow you to keep track of everything. Now, to connect all these softwares, you need an integration tool. And there are a bunch of different tools in this category. There's platforms like Zapier, Make, or Nation. We prefer Integrately though, because it's pre-built to work cleanly with a bunch of different home service softwares, and that allows us to move data between systems in a more controlled and reliable way. And the focus really isn't the integration tool itself. The focus is on making sure that the data is flowing correctly, duplicates are avoided, and automations aren't conflicting as your business grows. And that brings us to why most landscaping tools and their stacks tend to struggle. It's because the tools overlap, or no one owns the workflow, or the automations aren't being maintained the correct way. The team stops trusting the system, and when the team stops trusting the system, they push back and they only use bits and pieces of it, right? And that puts you, the owner, right back in the middle, manually texting, calling, and handling everything. And that's why we're not just here to sell you logins. We install JobFlow as a working system on your behalf. We build the workflows, we test every automation, we train your team, and we maintain the system so that it continues to work as your business continues to scale. And absolutely, you could build this marketing automation system yourself, but building it means making dozens of decisions. It means testing constantly, and it means maintaining the system over time as you continue to grow. And frankly speaking, that just sounds like another project. And most landscaping owners don't need another project unless it's really producing revenue for them, right? What they need is leverage, okay? And that's what we're there to provide for you. So if you want to see how your current tech stack is actually performing and where you might be missing opportunities, I want you to book a JobFlow systems teardown. And on that call, we're just going to walk through your lead flow, your follow-up, your pipeline, your scheduling, your reviews, reactivation, your entire customer workflow. And we're gonna identify the gaps that are costing you money and show you what fixing it would look like inside of your business. And if it makes sense to work together, we can talk about JobFlow. And if it doesn't, you'll still walk away with clarity and a clear plan. So go ahead and book your call. We'll see you shortly. I've been Charles. Have a good one.